the main purpose of the study of the wisdom of Kabbalah, the main purpose of the revelations of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Levaer hakotzim min hakeren, to remove the forces of negativity, to remove the forces that bring darkness into this world. Ki lachen nikraim haoskim b'chokhmah hazot mechatztei chakla. And that's why the Kabbalists refer to those who study this wisdom as the pruners of the field, those who cut away the thorns, who cut away the forces of negativity, who cut away the forces that bring darkness into this world. And the Ari explains further, there's many different lights, different aspects of the light of the Creator that are revealed in this world. What are the aspects of the light of the Creator that bring the greatest protection, that bring the greatest ability to remove the sources of darkness and negativity? When the totality of what's called this encircling light, which is the soul, again, that we know now of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, borchim kol hachitzonim, all the forces of negativity, all the forces of darkness, all the forces of disease, all the forces of death, they run away. They cannot be in the same place as when the light of the Omeki, the surrounding light, is revealed. That's the light of the soul of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And therefore we find in the Zohar the statement, Leit tifsara de kitfa shchiach be'atad de Rabbi Shimon. There cannot be any judgment. There cannot be any darkness. There cannot be any pain. There cannot be any disease where Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai exists. Because, as the Kabbalists teach, where that soul, in this case the soul, the great soul of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai exists, the negative forces run away. We know when a person leaves this world, the totality of the light of their soul is revealed. Which means that on Lag BaOmer, as in no other time of the year, the light of protection, the light that makes run away all the forces of negativity is revealed. And now we begin to understand the greatness of this day, as I was sharing with some of us who made the third meal connection together. This evening and tomorrow, Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day of the Omer, the day that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai revealed his greatest light in the world, is one of the most powerful days of the year. One of the most powerful days of the year. Because there's maybe no other day of the year when that force of light, which the Ari Rav Isaac Lurie explains is a soul uniquely from that light that is called the Omeki, the surrounding light. And that light, borchim mimeno kol hachitzonim. All darkness, all forces of negativity have to run away. Which means, to the degree that every one of us connects to the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai this evening, we draw to ourselves, to those around us, that light, that force that drives away all forces of negativity. But it's true that although that light is available, how much we connect it is dependent on every single one of us. How excited we are, how conscious we are, how aware we are. There's a great teaching from the great Kabbalist, Mishima min beRabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Those who have certainty in the power and light of the soul of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, yesh lo chizuk beRabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. You receive the support and the assistance from the great soul of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So although we are here to talk about what is available, the greatness of this soul, more important than that is for every single one of us to a greater degree than we already are and have, to grow and strengthen our certainty in the greatness of the soul. Because again, as we first learned from the writings of the Ari, this evening is revealed like maybe no other time of the year, that soul of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that soul that has the power to drive away all forces of negativity, pain, suffering, disease. But how much of that light will we connect to? How much of the light of the soul of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? Every one of us will connect differently. How much excitement, how much joy, how much consciousness we have this evening. And as we said, this evening, we have the opportunity like no other time of the year to connect to this soul. There's a story of one of the students of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai who wanted to come and connect to his teacher who had left this world after this Lag BaOmer, after this year that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai left the world. And there's an amazing story that has many secrets, but I want to share at least one idea from this great story. It says in the Zohar, Ishtatach Rabbi Chia be'ara v'nashak le'afra. Rabbi Chia, the student of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, went to Meron where Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is buried, and he fell on the ground and he kissed the earth. Ubacha ve'amar, and he cried and he said, Afra, Afra, he's talking out to the earth, to the dirt around the grave of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and he says, speaks to the dirt, Kama at keshikedal, Kama at b'chatzifu. You have so much chutzpah, so much audacity. Dechol machmade eina yitbalun bach. It seems that everybody eventually is swallowed up by the earth. Kama at chatzifa, butzina kadisha dehavanair alma. The great light, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who lit the entire world with his light. Itbali bach, he too, his body is in you, in the ground. Rabbi Shimon nihiru de butzina nihiru de almin. And he asked himself, how can this be that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the light of all the worlds, ant bali be'afra, how can it be that you as well have been eaten up by the ground? And so Rabbi Chia thinks for a moment. Ve'amar, and he says, and he speaks to the ground around the Meron, around Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Lo titgai. He says, don't be so proud. He speaks to the earth. Delo yitmasrun bach amuden de alma. It is not so that the souls who are truly connected to the light of the Creator are swallowed up eventually even by you. Rabbi Shimon lo yitbali bach. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was never taken in by the ground. He goes on, the story continues, but I want to speak of this point. What was Rabbi Chia thinking? What is his revelation? That the earth did not eat Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Before we answer that question, I want to tell another story. Years after Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai left this world, his son, Rabbi Elazar, who we know had spent the 12 and 13 years with him in the cave, passes away. Without going to the details of it, for many years he was not buried, but rather left in the attic of his home. It's an amazing story. It says that, for instance, when people would have an argument, they would come to the attic, they would stand outside, and they would each tell their side of the story, and a voice, the voice of Rabbi Elazar, even after he left this world, would announce which of them is right, which of them is wrong, which of them receives the money, which of them does not. This goes on for some time, and then his wife realizes it's not right to leave him in the attic, they should bury him. They take Rabbi Elazar, and they want to bury him with his father, with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in Meron. It says, מצאו לנחש שהקיף את המערה כאין גלגל. They found this huge snake as they're digging to try to bury Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon, in the same grave in Meron as his father, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. They find a snake that surrounds the grave of Rabbi Shimon and does not allow them to enter and bury Rabbi Elazar. Amar lo nachash nachash ptach picha v'ichnos ben etzel aviv. And they announce, they say to the snake, open up your mouth, let us through, so that the son, Rabbi Elazar, can rest with his father, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Patach et piv v'kavru et Rabbi Elazar b'mara. So the snake allowed them in. Rabbi Elazar is buried in the cave. Years later, the son of Rabbi Elazar, the grandson of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, passes away, and they want to bury him in the grave as well. The snake does not let them in. And the snake says, because Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Shimon spent the 12 years in the cave, they were together for that time of study, they can be together now. The grandson of Rabbi Shimon, the son of Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Yossi, he did not spend those 12 and 13 years with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in the cave, and therefore I will not let him in to be buried with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and with his son Rabbi Elazar. What's the story of the snake? Most of us know, you read the Zohar, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai makes it clear that the snake is a negative force. The snake is what made Adam fall. The snake we find time and time again in the Zohar as the source of all negativity. Of all the possible animals, lions and any other animals you can think of that can protect the grave of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, why the snake? Why is it the snake that was chosen to be the protector of the grave of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? We all know the story. It says in the Zohar, in the beginning of the Tikkunei Zohar, that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai had to run away from the Romans who wanted to kill him because he was teaching and spreading the wisdom of Kabbalah. For 12 years, it says, because they had only one set of clothing, Rabbi Shimon and Bar Yochai and his son Rabbi Elazar would bury themselves up until the neck in the ground. For 12 years. So much so that when his father-in-law finally sees him after he comes out of the cave, he says, "Oili shere'iticha bekach," woe to me that your body is in such terrible physical condition. There Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, "Ashrai shere'itini bekach," worthy am I that you've seen me like this, for had my body not been so decomposed in this way, I would not have achieved the level that I achieved. What is the purpose of burial? What is the purpose of the earth swallowing up the body? The Kabbalists teach that it's not a punishment, but rather to the degree that an individual pursues his desire to receive for the self alone, for his body to be eaten up by the ground so that that filth of selfishness, of desire to receive for the self alone could be removed. But if you follow the path of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, if you follow the path of the Kabbalists, and make sure at least that you do your best, as much as you can in this world, to separate yourself from your desire to receive from yourself alone, from your ego. Ultimately, what did Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai do? For the 12 and 13 years that he was away from his home, that he was hidden in the cave, he completely transformed himself. Completely transformed himself from desire to receive to desire to share. There was no need any longer for the earth to decompose the body of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai because he was perfected, body and soul. We asked first, why does Rabbi Chia have this whole conversation in his mind, first thinking that the earth has swallowed up Rabbi Shimon like everybody else, and then realizing, no, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai lo yitbali ba'ar. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is not swallowed up by the earth. Because Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, while he was in this world, completely transformed and removed himself from the desire to receive for the self alone. And therefore Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's body is not eaten up by the earth. We asked, why is the snake protecting Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? Because ultimately even the snake wants to protect us. Why do we experience negativity? Why does the snake manifest chas v'shalom in a person's life? Because to the degree that he or she, that we are attached to the desire to receive for the self alone, the snake does us a favor and helps us in the process, sometimes forced, to change, to remove that connection. But because Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and his son Rabbi Elazar took the time in the cave, those 12 years, and what were they doing? What does it mean? What is the secret? That it says in the Zohar, they buried themselves in the ground. It means they went through that process of removing every aspect of the desire to receive for the self alone from themselves. And therefore, the snake became their protector. What's the power of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? The power of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is that all the forces of this world, both positive and those that we often see as negative, become our protectors. There's a verse that says, Shomer nafshot chasidav, that the light of the Creator protects the souls of the righteous. Shomer nafshot chasidav, the Kabbalists teach, the first three letters of that word is nachash, the snake. Because even the snake, certainly for a soul such as Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, does not come to harm, but comes to protect. This is what is revealed to us this evening. First, the soul of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the soul, that light, that has the power to transform even the snake to a protector. Every single force of this world transformed to a force of protection and light and blessings. Maybe now we can begin to appreciate and understand why the Kabbalah said this is, again, one of the greatest days, evenings into day of the year. Because this is the night that the totality of the soul of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is revealed, the light of the soul that perfected so completely that the snake became his protector. That all the forces of this world, from the positive and even to those, again, that previously were thought to be negative, transformed by the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai to be protector. That's why it was the snake chosen to protect the grave of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So this evening, first, yes, we want to connect to that great light, but second, those of us who are serious about our spiritual work, we ask one thing this evening. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, you transformed yourself in those 12 years through the secret of the earth, of putting yourself in the earth, meaning through the secret of day after day thinking of new ways by which you can remove yourself from your desire to receive for the self alone. For those of us who desire this evening, we ask Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, give us the ability to do the same. Give us the ability to do the true spiritual work so that we can, in our lifetimes, transform so completely from desire to receive to desire to share, so that all the forces of this world become our protector, so that even the snake becomes our protector, so that we, as you, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, do not have the need to be swallowed up by the earth. That light, that support, that ability is given to us this evening. And therefore, as we said, there is almost no other day of the year that is as important as this evening. But Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, I shared this as well in the third meal. The Kabbalists teach the word Bereshit, which is the first word of the Torah, is an acronym, is the first letters of the words Torato shel Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the wisdom and light of the Zohar of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. In the moment of the creation of this world, the Creator knew that the entire purpose of this creation can only be achieved through the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, through the light revealed by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in the Zohar. How many of us know that our connection to the light of the Creator, that our ability to transform, is wholly and completely dependent on our connection to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? The Creator knew this in the first moment of creation. He knew that without the revelation of the soul of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai through the light of the Zohar, there is no purpose for creation. Humanity, man, and any individual, no individual, would ever be able to completely transform, be able to transform the snake into a protector. The Kabbalists also teaches a verse in Daniel and Daniel, the book of Daniel. It says, Ir vekadish min shamaya nachit. The Creator sent down into our world an angel. The first letters of those words in that verse, Ir vekadish min shamaya nachit, the first words of the name Shimon, of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. The Creator knew and knows that it is only through the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and the light of the Zohar that angels sent down to us by the Creator, thought of in the first moment of creation, do we have the ability and the possibility to completely transform ourselves and the world. One of the most famous quotes in the Zohar, it says, in the Zohar in Naso, B'haisifra dilach, the revelation of the Zohar, Yifkun bei min galuta berachame. Pain, suffering, and death, the darkness that exists in our world can end with mercy. Only through the light of the Zohar and the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. That's why the Rav would always remind us. It's easy to get confused. We study so many things so many times. Don't ever forget, the Rav always says, it's all about the Zohar. It's unfortunate. I often see people, sometimes even chevra, who are studying and teaching, and we forget that. This evening, if we want to truly receive the great light that is available, we have to recommit ourselves to this connection. None of us are as committed and as connected as we need to be to the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and the light of the Zohar. For the sake of our transformation, for the sake of our connection to the light of the Creator, we can continue in that way. What we ask this evening is that we are given both knowledge and understanding and desire to connect more strongly and more deeply to the light of the Zohar, the light of the great soul of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. The Bnei Yissaschar, one of the great Kabbalists, says that the joy that can be experienced this evening is shelo b'derech hateva. It is above nature. The Kabbalists also teach that in this evening, all the gates are open. Gates of prayer, gates of assistance. There's miracles after miracles told throughout the years of those who connected to the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. We've shared a little bit about what's available this evening. I always remember, and exactly 60 years ago this evening, Rav Ashlag, in 1953, the last Lag Bomer of his life in this world, he finished his commentary on the Sulam. It was, as it is this year, a Saturday night, Lag Bomer. 60 years ago this evening, Rav Ashlag was with his students for the last time in Meron, celebrating the publishing, the completion of his commentary on the Zohar. And he said to his students, he said, I ask you to sing a melody without words, because there are no words that can express the thankfulness, the appreciation, the light that I feel in having the merit to have revealed the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai through my commentary in this world. The same can be said about the light of Lag Bomer. We can talk about it, and maybe, hopefully, we've shared something that can awaken our appreciation and understanding of what is available tonight. But one thing should be sure, way beyond anything that we can appreciate is revealed this evening. All the gates are open. There's no more joyous day of the year than Lag Bomer. There's no other day of the year when if you have a true need, a true opening for assistance, you can receive it this evening. One of the ways we do it, by the way, is through B'ezrat Hashem, we will have singing and dancing. And I'll end with the story of a dancing that occurred on Lag Bomer when the Ari, Rav Isaac Luria, was in Meron. It says that as they're singing there, the Ari, Rav Isaac Luria, is dancing with his students, and this old man with a long flowing white beard joins their circle. And the Ari is dancing alone with this man. As they're dancing, they grab the guy who was called the Shamash in the synagogue. He was just the guy who would clean up, who would take care. And this man with the beard drags this third man, Rabbi Elazar Askari is his name, and he dances with the Ari, this man, Rabbi Elazar Askari, and the man with the long white beard. After the dancing is done, the students ask the Ari, why were you dancing? Why did you grab this guy, who's not even such a close student, into your dancing? They said, the old man, we didn't know who he was, but he looked very pious, he looked very elevated. We understand why you danced with him, but why with Rabbi Elazar Askari? So the Ari turns to his students and says, if Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai can dance with him, I can dance with him. And then they understood that that man that they saw was Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai coming to dance with the Ari and with Rabbi Elazar Askari. This evening, as we dance and as we sing, we ask that through this dancing and singing and through this joy that we feel and that we awaken, which is not of this world, that we open up the gates for those who need. And it's important, by the way, those of you, either for yourself or for others, that you know need assistance, that you know need blessings, that you meditate upon them as we continue our connection this evening. Because there's almost no other day of the year, that the gates are open, as they are open this evening. May we all have the merit to both have and gain a greater appreciation for Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, for the light that is within the Zohar, and through that connection truly begin at least the process of transformation for which we came into this world. But that most importantly, that this evening we make the connection to Rabbi Shimon, so that for ourselves and for others we manifest all the endless light and blessings available to us this evening. Chag Sameach.